Welcome back to Living Today. I'm Chris Hofstad, your host for this afternoon. Our number is 866-675-6675. Feel free to call us at any time with questions, especially during this next segment, because we're going to be talking about kind of getting yourself organized for the new year. And I think that a big part of that includes kind of staying organized through the holiday season. I always think that it's really almost a pity that we have this time of year that really we can let ourselves kind of turn into a tornado of just kind of receipts and paper and spending, and then we come around the other side of it. And I really think when January kind of starts, that's when people start kind of thinking of organizing themselves and getting everything ready for their taxes, or if they're planning vacations and things like that. And so that's why we've asked Barbara Reich to come and talk with us this afternoon. She's a professional organizer for Resourceful Consultants, resourcefulconsultants.com. And Barbara, welcome to Living Today. You seem fairly organized this afternoon.
I'm always organized, Chris.
Okay. All right. Well, how can we become more organized? And what does it mean with an eye towards the new year? Like I said, I think it helps to stay organized through the holiday season. But I feel like we do kind of have that goal for ourselves to kind of start the new year off in not a receipt and paper like a disaster zone.
Right, absolutely. I think that other than losing weight, I think getting organized is one of the top New Year's resolutions that people have.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of simple things that you can do to just make your life go on easier and more smoothly and in a way that's less chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I tell people to do is tackle the thing that you're dreading the most first. So when you start your day, often there's a phone call that you just don't want to make. There's a person you just don't want to talk to, an email that's just going to take you a long time to write. Do that first, and then it's done, it's out of your head, and you can enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. Whether that be. So, I mean, you really kind of have to, and I've been in that situation before, and I have a friend, it's funny you mentioned like a New Year's resolution, but I had a friend who, last year, for his New Year's resolution, he decided that he was going to kind of tackle that tough thing. And in his case, I believe that it was like he was in a little bit of debt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he had extended himself on a couple credit cards and taxes and whatever and things like that. And it wasn't a lot, but it was enough that kind of like that was the call that he didn't want to make. And so on his New Year's resolution, and he probably ducked it because, like adulthood, you kind of duck it for a bit. And when you're in your 20s, he's in his late 20s. And so he kind of ducked it, and then in January, he was like, I'm going to face it. And so he was like, I've got this year to kind of turn this around for myself. And he did it. And he even was telling me the other day, he thinks it was one of the best decisions he ever made.
Right.
Because he instantly stopped feeling like dread about this thing, and it gave him, he kind of could get organized and move on.
Well, a lot of times there's a certain spot in your house that you just...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm talking in big picture things. But, I mean, in my apartment, if I had a thing that I dread, it would probably be the closet in my room, my bedroom, because it's a dumping ground.
Right. Right. So, in the new year, let's say you decided to tackle your closet.
I really could have used it.
Right. So, here's what you do. You start by purging. Just taking the things out of your closet. It's really just a very clear decision. Have you worn it? Will you ever wear it? Is it in good condition? Will you miss it? I've actually never had a client say to me, wow, I really wish that I still had that pair of black pilled pants.
Yeah.
The stain on the side because they fit me so great.
But I do that. I feel like I do that like every 6 months. I get fed up. I take everything out. And then the last time I did it and the time before that, each time I walked away with a bag full of clothing to donate and to get rid of, but yet it still seems like, I guess maybe do clothes breed, or I don't understand. That sounds hokey, but like I don't feel like I'm actually cutting down on any of the clutter inside my closet. I feel like it's still staying at this level. I must be finding new things to shove in there.
Well, you have to stop the tide. So let's say you got rid of a bunch of stuff. Well, let's not fill it with new stuff that you don't want. Let's be more planful about what you buy. So part of cleaning out your closet is then grouping all the like things together so you see, how many black sweaters do I really have? How many pairs of jeans do I really have? Is there something I got rid of that I need to replace? And then when you go shopping, it's not just a free-for-all. You're shopping for what you truly need. And the other thing about the clothes is what I see a lot of the time is that people, they make these bags, they're going to give this away, they're going to donate this, and then they get stuck because they don't have in their mind who they're going to give it to.
Yeah.
So they end up shuffling this shopping bag of stuff around their house, and it doesn't go anywhere. And then they have these things that they really want to donate, but they don't know who to give it to or how to get it there. So then they get stuck.
All right, so this is some pretty good tips. 866-675-6675. We want to help you guys get organized for the new year. One of the things that you say, I like to, still going back to the idea of tackling the tough task. I really do. You know, I think the problem is that I think I have high shelving in the closet, and so it's hard to get to. And I use those containers, and I put things that I try to get seasonal. And I was like, oh, my summer things could go in there, and they go up top. But then I also have that kind of bar across, and that's where I keep all my shirts or the things that I wear, like button-downs or whatever that I wear the most. And then the whole underzone is basically my hamper. And it's, I think that's what I need to organize, the lower part.
Right. Well, sometimes you actually need to change the infrastructure of your closet, and it's not as costly or as time-consuming as you would think. When I go in and I look at a closet, I look at where the empty space is. And in your case, you're saying the whole bottom becomes a dumping ground?
Well, I have like 2 bins,
What you probably could do is double hang your closet. And you would probably do better to have the clothes that you wear all the time along the bottom and replace that top bar with shelves. And that way you would have shelves that were reachable and accessible to put things that you are taking out of your closet on a regular basis, and you get the stuff off the floor. The stuff on the floor is what makes the closet look really messy.
Okay. That's actually pretty good advice. I mean, as you were saying it, I was imagining it. I was like, if I lower the bar and put some, it would be nice to have shelves that I didn't have to get a step stool for.
Yeah, you'll never get on that stuff.
Or like that climbing / spelunking thing where while you're doing it, you're like, this feels unsafe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone get the phone ready and dial everything but the last digit of the doctor's phone number.
Right.
Get my chiropractor on the phone. Mona's called us from Queens, New York, here on Living Today at 866-675-6675. Mona, how can we help you get organized?
Hi. Well, I've started the organization process, and I'm stuck with the 7 shopping bags to which you just referred a few minutes ago that I don't know what to do with. And that's what made me call. Perhaps if on your show you might be able to, I guess, give a list of places where they accept donations of various household items.
That's true.
Clothes, appliances, china, that might help people like me who have all these things they don't need but just don't want to discard.
Do you have any that you prefer, you tend to use? Are they off the top of your head?
Housing Works, Salvation Army. If you have Suits and Clothing, Dress for Success is a great organization.
Okay.
If you have toys and baby supplies that are in very good shape, there's Baby Buggy.
Okay.
And there's also the churches and the synagogues. Often the churches will organize drives where they'll send huge boxes of things to other countries to help people who are needy.
Yes, some of the churches locally will, send out flyers saying if you leave a bag of clothing, they'll come by and take it. But some things I have are books, toys, appliances, and things that I no longer need. But thank you for suggesting maybe contacting Housing Works. Salvation Army is picky about what they take.
Interestingly enough, a lot of these organizations have gotten pickier. I think that, as you say, that the Salvation Army will only take new games. So you have to know the nuances of the places that you're trying to donate to. And it is often not so easy to make a donation. We'd like to think that we can just put it in the back of a car and drive somewhere and drop it off and someone will benefit. But it's often a little bit of work.
No, it is. I found that. But thanks very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's funny you mentioned Dress for Success. I think that's actually a great resource, and they're national. And they work to help people. Especially women, it's kind of like business kind of clothing to help women apply for jobs and kind of get back on their feet and have a more professional look. And I think that really helps their attitude. And it's a really good resource. But it is difficult. Like those things like toys and games, we don't want to throw those things away, but you do have to find the right person to donate. And this is one of those things where I just spend a little time with Google and make sure and find the right person to kind of donate those things to. 866-675-6675. Thank you very much for your phone call. We hope to hear some more. Now, one of the things that you mentioned is the idea of sticking to a routine.
Absolutely. I tell people that they just need to do it the same way every time. So when you walk in your house, if you put your bag down in the same place and you charge your phone in the same place and you put your phone in the same pocket of your bag or in the same pocket of your briefcase.
Yeah.
You'll always know where your phone is, and it becomes rote.
Mm-hmm. I do that. I think that I don't even know when I started doing it, but I won't leave. I always do a pat check before I'm leaving. You know what I mean?
That's good.
And I need to have I always want to have my work ID. I'm always afraid I'm going to leave my work ID at home. And but I keep it. When I'm leaving, I'll put it in my pocket. But then before I leave for the end of the day, I'll take it out of my pocket and put it in a zipper in my bag. And so I always have these things where I know where these things are. You're right. And then the same thing with my phone. If it's not here, then I need to figure out where it is before I go, and those kind of things. But I need to be that way about. I think it's a good way to be that way. What about something like our mail?
Well, with mail, what I tell people to do is throw away 90% of it before it even enters your house.
Yeah.
You don't need that catalog because there's going to be another one in the next 3 days, and it's just going to encourage you to buy things that you don't need. It's better to actually go online when you need something than keep those things.
All right.
But I also, when we talk about routines, I also suggest kids' homework. The homework goes from the backpack to the table or the desk or the area where they do the homework and back in the backpack. And then you avoid that morning scramble of, oh my God, where's my math homework? So if you have a routine set, or even with very young children, you can teach them to put their gloves in their pocket and their hat in their sleeve. And that's what they do in nursery school. Mm-hmm. If you say it over and over again as a mantra with your kids in your house, they will learn. They will learn to
have a routine, and there'll be but it's a good routine, and it's something they'll probably end up growing up and doing things like that in other parts of their life.
We hope.
866-675-6675 is the number to reach us here at Living Today. We're going to step aside for a second, but we're talking to Barbara Reich about organizing for the new year and making sure that we kind of stay organized through these holiday season and get a clean start in January. We'll be back. Give us a call, 866-675-6675. And we are in Studio 12 talking to Barbara Reich about organizing ourselves. So give us a call, 866-675-6675. And we actually had a caller, Barbara, during the break who called and wanted to tell us that, Goodwill, the Goodwill organization, is national, and they will take any kind of donation.
Great to know.
And I also believe that she said that the YMCA and the YWCA will take donations of makeup and perfume.
Very good to know.
That's good, because you can think about there's plenty of people who use that, and just because you don't like shimmer anymore, I'm sure someone could use it. So that's 866-675-6675 to reach us here and talk about organizing. Now, one of the things that you talk about is the idea of making a to-do list at the end of the workday.
Right.
And I see that on the subway sometimes when I ride home. I'll see people sitting there with their little notebook making their to-do list for the next day.
See, I love those people. Yeah. They're going to be prepared for the next day.
While I'm sitting there doing my pat down, they're going to be on their way.
Exactly right. If at the end of the day you take a few minutes to get yourself organized, to cross the things off that you've done, to add the things that you want to get done the next day, you're able to start the next day with a clean slate, with a clear frame of mind. You're able to sleep better. A lot of times if you just write something down and you know you have to do it, you're not anxious that you'll forget it, and you're not, some people lose sleep over that. They feel anxious they'll forget something. Just write it down. Yeah.
It's no matter what it is.
No matter what it is.
Because you could just put anything on a to-do list. I could put wake up, go to work.
Some people need it step by step.
Eat lunch.
The important things.
Interview Barbara Reich.
Exactly.
Make a to-do list. Okay, at 5 p.m. I could put make a to-do list for tomorrow.
And then you could cross it off once you do it.
It's funny, I actually like that. Now, there's a lot of apps that kind of help people do that. We talked with our tech guys last week about something called Evernote, which is an organizational kind of app where you just can do it on your phone, which is good because I think a lot of people, instead, we're glued to our phones anyway.
Right. A lot of people like technology, although there is something to be said for writing it, paper, pencil, writing it down, and being able to cross things off. It's satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Now, you say that when it comes to money, and you mentioned credit and credit cards, to minimize the credit card that we use the most.
Well, I would memorize the number of the credit card that you use most. It's an incredible time saver. So you're shopping online, and you go to put in your credit card number. You don't have to then say, oh, where's my purse? Where's my wallet? Where's the credit card? It's in your head. If I know I'm a big takeout food orderer.
Yeah.
So as I place my order every night,
Just know it.
Just know it. It's a huge time saver. It's like your Social Security number. You're asked for it a lot.
Yeah. You don't have to have to fumble and fish around for it. Mm-hmm. And just place a bunch of things.
Exactly.
On the way to doing it. I think that's probably 9 times out of 10, I think maybe the reason we misplace our keys is because we're looking for something else, and we kind of shove them to the side of something, other part of our bag, some deep dark corner where only moist towelettes lay. And then the next thing you know, we can't find them when we're trying to get in with our arms full of Chinese food.
Well, I also say that only buy a bag that has good internal pockets.
Oh,
have a pocket for your key, a pocket for your phone.
I have a lot of friends who could use that advice.
Yes, and also the best type of bag isn't black or a dark color on the inside because then you can see the things better.
Okay. See, I like that. I like that advice. See, because you need to be able to have good line of sight. Anyway, 866-675-6675. We've got a few minutes left. You talk a little bit about... It's funny you mentioned health insurance forms, because this is the time of year that people need to kind of re-up and renew their policies and plans. I know we get emails about our health insurance here at work all the time for these last couple months of the year.
I mean, the health insurance reimbursements is money that's yours, and so many people just leave it on the table because the thought of filling out the form and sending it in just seems insurmountable. But if you fill out the forms in advance, most of the information on the form is generic. It's your name, it's your address, it's your birth date. And then all you have to write in the part where they want to know about the diagnosis and the visit is see attached. You staple the form from the doctor to that, and it's ready to be sent in.
Okay.
So make multiple copies, fill it in advance, and you're ready to go.
And then that's one thing because stuff like that can be one of those tough tasks that we kind of dread.
Right, and it's your money. And if you don't send it in, you will not get your money.
It's kind of, I feel like they almost bank on that.
They do bank on that.
Literally.
They do.
Okay. All right, so let's give a little bit of a recap. You talk about, well, I feel like we talked about the idea of the onslaught of paper. I like the idea of throwing out 90% of your mail, and you really only keep the important stuff.
Right.
But is it good to have, should you have that mental checklist of, obviously we know that bills are important and correspondence is important, but, how is it that we always get kind of fooled by, solicitations? I always feel like that stuff makes it to my table. I don't initially throw it out. I'm like, well, maybe I'll open this up and see what it is, or maybe it looks like something else.
Well, they often disguise it to look like something else, but you really need to get in the habit of opening your mail every day, and if you open your mail every day, you'll be able to recycle those papers very quickly.
Yeah.
And then the things that are left will be an invitation, maybe a magazine that you want to read, and a couple of bills. The bills can go in an inbox, and in order to fight the onslaught of paper in terms of your periodicals, if it's a daily periodical, throw it away daily. A weekly periodical, throw it away weekly. Monthly, throw it away monthly. That way those things don't keep stockpiling. You don't have huge piles of magazines all over your house.
That's one of my least favorite things, is the piles of periodicals. I get a lot of those magazines that are like, this is what's happening this week in your city. And they just kind of sit around and have no idea what to do with them. And they're like the last thing I ever want to carry down to the recycling room. And so I always think, I'm like, it's like when I'm a librarian, I'm not keeping these things around for anyone's benefit. I should just get rid of them, right?
Just get rid of them. It feels good to throw that stuff away.
I agree. So I guess we're going to get organized for the new year. I'm going to apply some of the things you said. I'm going to tackle those tough tasks. I'm going to start trying to make to-do lists at the end of the day. And I'm going to put shelves in my closet.
I like
extra
that.
shelves. I'm
That'll make me
lower
happy.
that rack. All right. Barbara Reich, thank you so much for coming by. You're a professional organizer for Resourceful Consultants. We appreciate all of your advice today.
Thank you